Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm solo hanging out tonight, and I'm also just using my mic in a slightly different configuration. So let me know if I'm coming through loud and clear for you guys tonight. Some people were mentioning that they thought it was a little soft. So I just did a few changes to see if it will make it any louder. Mostly, I think it's just because I'm looking at lots of things and hardly directly at my microphone. So tonight I'm going to eat my microphone and see if that helps you out. It's a double-edged sword here because one is designed to cut down the background noise, but the second I look away, then it starts to cut down the sound for you. So let me know how that's coming through. I will do the roll call because I'm solo. And you guys are my company tonight. So Justice Reynolds coming in first tonight, followed closely by Canadian Bear and then Shawn Reynolds. So doubling up on the Reynolds here at the top, no relation. A strange event's coming in. So Nick's in here, X Todd's in here, Jeff M is in here, Ryan's in here. I see Anthony is in here, and Jason just came in there at the bottom saying evening all. So I see some winners in here. We're going to talk a little bit about the winners. And hey, Sean Death's coming in as well. LJ coming in here, Shawn with the smooth sounds tonight. Yeah, you bet. I'm doing my best. So we'll talk a little bit about, a lot about what happened in the last couple weeks. You guys know of we skipped a podcast, a couple podcasts, only because one I was quite exhausted from the big December 30th show, and we'll talk a little bit about that tonight. And then we just decided with the new rules dropping on the 16th, we're going to come through and just do some Friday night fights as soon as that drops. So we're going to roll on the 20th. I'll talk a little bit about that as well. So no Friday night fight again this week, taking a little hiatus as we're all kind of gearing up and anticipating what new Legion looks like. Not new, just different Legion, but same game, same good stuff. So on the topic of new, we are going to discuss some drops with Moff Gideon and Dark Troopers. So we'll do that. We'll cover off some of the Twitter stuff. I'll talk about my Adepticon experience. I'll talk about it extensively, actually. I'm going to start a little segment for me personally, the Road to Worlds, but it's going to start with a frustration story, and technology is frustrating at the best of times. But I'm going to talk about a little bit about mine because it was like shared frustration, and it's in the end we're good, it's all well and good. But it was kind of funny when we were trying to all get into Adepticon. So we'll talk about that. So we'll do that. I'm glad that I have some folks hanging out. So we got 13 folks in the booth. So make sure you guys are keeping me entertained in the chat. That would be fantastic. I am solo tonight. Jace is not here. Jace is taking care of a family thing, so I'm not going to get into details on that. But best of wishes going out to Jace and family here tonight. I think we're going to be okay. So I won't, like I said, I won't get into details, but give him the thumbs up and the well wishes in the chat, and he can see and read that later. So what do we have on the show tonight? Well, the rundown the side is going to be last year in Legion, simply because there was a ton of stuff. I'm going to talk a little bit about some games that I've played, and I'm on a little bit of I'm at a frustration state in Legion, and I don't know if it's doing things wrong or doing things differently or trying to do things differently in the interest of figuring out what is the best approach. But I'll talk a little bit about that and a little bit about my own world's prep for sure. The trees will be safe. Yeah, we will not be rolling any dice on the tables tonight, but trees 100% marked safe. So all trees marked safe in the studio this evening. I am going to talk a little bit about the league round 3. Round 3 is just ready. It's on the cusp, ready to get going here. I think if I'm keeping the math straight in my head, it's sometime around the 24th. I think we're going to get going. I have a drop stream for that to help me remember dates. But that's happening. So if you want to get into the league or you're not in the league already, check out the Discord. You guys can see how it's going. I think there's like 23 or 24 people signed up for the next round already. We got 30 plus in this round. So I anticipate we'll have some more, and some people probably just haven't registered just yet as they finish up their games this round. AMG, obviously, like I said, dropped some news. So we'll talk about those, and then the roads to world, and then we'll get a little roundtable at the end. I'm sure I'll have time for that. So as I said, we're going to return on the 20th for Friday Night Fights. So check us out in the studio, 7:30 live. I got confirmation yesterday from Corvus that we actually have some of the terrain is just getting finished being printed, and will be sent to the studio. So that'll be our first Corvus terrain stuff in studio. So we rock Imperial terrain and Legion terrain, as well as Deep Cut Studios stuff. So we'll have now Corvus. We'll have a nice little plethora of items. We just got to get some paint time on that. But I have been busy working on another project, of which I'll talk to you as well about. Let me hide this one here. As I said, 24th of January. So the live show will go basically. Let me just grab my calendar here real fast. So calendar date says we will launch on the 24th, which means the league show, the launch show will be on the 24th as well. There's the Discord handle. You guys can get that. I can probably try to share it in the chat here in a little bit. If I remember to do that, but I'll do that in the roundtable actually, because then I can have other people talking at the same time. So league round's going to start on the 24th. You can register before that. The ban vote's going on right now. It's going to end pretty soon. We have an operative ban for this coming round, and then you can submit your list at any point. Canadian Bear is the list collector, so you guys can send your list to him. If you have any questions, jump in the Discord. We have a plethora of people who are more than helpful getting folks through and into the league. I saw a couple new people sign up in the last day or so, which is awesome. We're always onboarding new people. I saw some people came back. Dashes is coming back for this round. Jace is signed back up. Anthony's in. I'm in. We got to convince the Wizard to get in and play some games. Michael Larson, I just saw sign up as well. So some people coming in and out, which is great. We even got Ryan in this round, so we're doing something right. So it's been super fun. It's really good. I had a super real good group of players. A lot of people beating up on each other, including me in that round, going 3 for 3. Strong start, poor finish. Just a dollar short in every single game, it seems. So breakthrough wasn't working out for me, and I'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then lastly, I want to say a huge thank you, and I'll get into this a little bit more, but big thanks to the 2023 or 2022 year. It was great. It was fantastic. We had a super very robust audience that stayed with us through the whole year, and you guys will see when I get to to both the giveaway and the donation screen, just so you guys can see how we managed in 2022. I expect bigger in 2023, not from the following or the donations or the support or anything like that, just from myself. I can do more, so I'm gonna work really hard in 2023 to up it, right. So we're moving our way towards not rookie status, basically, is where we're going to be trying to push ourselves here in studios. So let's get into a few things here, and then we'll get into some chatting and AMG stuff and all that great things that we like to talk about. If you're looking for us on the social medias, you can find us in many places. Of course, you can find us on the Facebooks, you can find us on the Twitters and the Instagrams. Ben looks after the Instagram, Anthony looks after the Twitter, Bryant looks after the Facebook, and I handle the Patreon. Patreon's been fantastic. You guys have been really fantastic on there, jumping on, supporting where you can. I could have probably live update here in a little bit. I'm anticipating that the tokens were a little bit delayed, like I mentioned, coming out. That was actually just because they sat in the shipping depot. It seemed like for like 3 or 4 days. Hey, how's it going, Frank? And I was anticipating they were going to be a bit faster. Right now, it tells me, and again, they've been there since the 7th. So it's sitting in the International Distribution Center in Los Angeles. And so I'm hoping to get them here. Like I said, we have one set for a giveaway, so that's heading out. As soon as it gets here, one set for Anthony, one set for Jace. Anthony gets the first set, and then 2 sets for myself here in studio to use on stream. So if you guys are waiting for those for the Patreon and making that tier, that is going to happen. I just need to get them calculate the weight so that I can put the Patreon tier accordingly. So we're not having to handle anything on my end. It's just going to be straight. You support. This is the perk that you get as a result of that. Card sleeves will be the same thing. I'm just not trying to convolute things too much, and also trying to account for, hey, people might want all the things, and I want to spread your dollars out across because I know that you probably have other things to buy, gas, groceries, etc. So I won't inundate you with a whole bunch of things, but we'll spread them out through the year so that you guys can get those. On the topic of spreading things out through the year, have a look at the spread here. So there's the card sleeves coming in 2023. Everything's lined up for them. I have the cost. I have all that. I just have to basically hit the button. So we'll do those in probably a few months so that we can get them in hand, throughout the tournament season. This will be the first item that's up. They look basically just like this, a little less bright because obviously this is a digital image, but you guys have seen the actual chip quality. I will again show you next week when I get them. This is going to be what a set's going to look like right here. 26 tokens, 2 heavies, clearly not enough. But we'll talk a little bit about that and what you can possibly do to get around that. I can't make the token set infinite in number of tokens. I wish I could. I don't want to do a monthly release like here's your 5 core tokens. I definitely don't want to do that either. But if you want to get yourself a couple sets, you can. If you want to just play, not 6 heavies, you can probably do that as well. So, yeah. By the way, Frank is about to have a baby, and he announced that. I knew that before, but congratulations, Frank. Thumbs up for Frank in chat. So there's the whole 2023 spread. It's looking sharp. I can't wait to get all the things. It gives me an excuse to get a bunch of card sleeves for myself. I hardly ever keep any of this stuff because I just keep giving it away till I have none. So I think I have one set of the old card sleeves, but most of the stuff I just give away, to be perfectly honest. I like seeing it out in the wilds as opposed to on the shelf here in the studio. So, and by the way, on that topic, I love that you guys are sharing out the photos of the swag that you got. I saw Justice got his echo based defenders today. I've seen a boba arrive somewhere. Frank's got all the painted versions for the prize winners all ready to ship out. Michael shipped all his stuff. I got tracking numbers on that. Bryant has shipped all his stuff out on his end, and I took like 63 envelopes and packages to the post office. And so I know there's a ton of stuff out. I had both Patreon and giveaway stuff out there. So it is awesome. This one I am super happy about and really, really stoked. So you guys know last year I just did a jersey up because I wanted to have some stuff for the crew here in studio, look good on camera, look good, feel good, play good, that whole mentality. I decided to do another one for 2023, and I was back and forth on a ton of designs, but I think I settled out on this. And I do this for a couple reasons. One, I really like to honor the folks that help us out in studio. So just so you guys know, I don't charge any, or we don't do any like money exchange on any of the sponsors. They help out the studio. They help us do great things like the giveaways and support the studio work. And so in honor of that, I just put them on the shirt. I rep these companies because I have relationships with these companies. I speak to these guys like I would speak to, friends on the street kind of things, back and forth. It's very much not a business relationship, but it's a friendship and it's a joint partnership. So I do this because I think it looks great. I think it's great to represent the people who are helping me out. And so I put them on there. Obviously, I like to have my own company stuff on there because why not? Why not support what I'm doing? So that is why that's on there. And then Friday Night Fights, it's not a real thing. It's just something that we've made. We've made a crew, a family, a relationship. You guys hang out with us every single week. And so that's why that's on there. But these are the shirts, and this is what they're going to look like this year. And again, this is a no money in, no money out situation. I don't do these. I'm not selling them. They're not perks. They're not anything. But if people want to get them, I let you know how to do it, and I do it together. And if you're looking for information on it's on the Discord. Go check it out. I can tell you exactly how that works. There's a ton of people who have already ordered. You can get your own name on there, your own nickname, whatever. Some nicknames we've given to people and they've just absorbed them, which is fantastic. I've just, average is not something that really came to be, except for that seems to be what I like to say when I roll dice. People make fun of me for it. They think it's not average. I think it's funny. It's a very strange nickname, but it sticks and it works for me. So I put it on the jerseys because I think it's applicable. So this is what my jersey would look like. Your jersey can look very much identical to this with your own cool nickname. If you like the style, great. I'm only doing one. But like I said, anyone can get them. We'll make them available for everyone. And if you want to know how to do that, it's on there. And I think it'll be cool. Hey, if I'm ever at an event and you're there, let's get a photo together because I think that's really, really cool. Again, to see kind of our brand, our support, the work that we do just out in the wilds looks great. I love when I get photos of this stuff because it kind of just shows how far and wide we've sort of spread. So if you want to check it out, they are good. Canadian Bear, not wrong, because I don't want to don't want to tote too much about it, but the quality of these jerseys is awesome. That's why they're a little bit more expensive than most maybe. But for sure, this is an anti-sweat wicking material, so it gets away from your body. I want them to be comfortable. They are sort of body fitting, but they fit really nice, and the quality is great. I got a couple. I've had no sort of issues with them at all. So we're going to go just with the same ones all over again, and we'll do a different look as we like to mix it up. So LJ saying loves to see people rep jerseys at large events, tokens and jerseys as far as the eye can see. Absolutely. There's a ton of stuff out there. So we are not the only ones, of course, but we like to have our own little style and splash. And we certainly I like busy designs. So I did this. This was a blank canvas. I started from blank and worked it up. You guys, if you're following on the Discord, you saw the sort of evolution of that. And that's kind of where we arrived at. And it's been a joint little adventure. I asked people for opinions. Hey, what do you like about this? Ben said, hey, why don't you try this color splash there instead of that? I did that. I went with a white sleeve just to brighten it up a little bit. Some people said, hey, why don't you move this here? I don't like the tramp stamp name. I had that conversation with my wife, and she's like, I didn't really think about that. But okay. But hey, we moved the name. It looks cool. I'm fine with this. I got the jerseys approved. The design looks good. It will work physically in print, and we're ready to go. And so this is going to be fast because we want them for Adepticon. And we want them out there in the wild. So enough talk about that. But if you guys want to know more, you guys know where to find out the details on that. Let's jump back to the 76th episode. By the way, I think this is 152 plus 76. We're getting up there. We're chatting a little bit about this episode only because, well, there was a game. If you go watch it, somewhere in the background there was a game being played. No, it was fun. There was a big bounty and supply drop game going on. Jason Anthony playing. And before I get into this too much, we are going to run a little bit more of a rotation this year. So I think you guys are going to see me on the other side of the camera a little bit more. We are going to try to find a couple more people to roll into the fold, but I might even try to convince Anthony to jump back here. I might try to set it up and sort of streamline it as much as I can for him so he doesn't have to click a lot of buttons, just so that we can run that 3-man rotation. So if you guys are interested in that, throw it in the chat so that I can really get those guys convinced that that's something that we could do. Because I'd like to play a little bit more on screen. Not that I don't want to play on screen, but I like to have that just a different style for you guys. We can get more and more, different styles on the table, I guess. So, but the 76th episode was fantastic. I have to thank a lot of people. And maybe what I'll do is jump back so I can just show a face and then I'll jump back in there. But I want to thank a ton of people. So Michael came out, we got him on loan from Hogwarts. And he came back and did the wizardry of keeping track of all of the, hey, Kelly, how's it going? X Todd, Andrew, Jake, and Patrick, welcome. So he came back and did some wizardry with us and kept track of all the prizes. I don't know how he did it, but he managed to keep track. It was very, very streamlined for sure. Had no issues contacting and getting everything handled, and we did really fantastic. I think I have 4 things left to get in touch with. Actually, 3 things, because one person just contacted me about how to get them to them. So he was fantastic in that. Bryant was on there helping us out a ton. Ben, myself, Jace, Anthony, obviously on there doing all the things, which was really, really good to have those guys out. I wouldn't have been able to pull off the 30th without them at all. But it went great. Numbers, we were shooting for 150 viewers for the show. We hit 147 in the live time. So in the period of time we had, we fell 3 shy of the number that we wanted to get to. Our highest, I think, was 118 at the peak, like simultaneous viewers, which beat our last year's total by 4. And we definitely went like 23 prizes more than last year. So we crushed it on all fronts. And we got to thank you guys for that. Our average view duration was off the rails in terms of YouTube metrics. And for a better part of 4 hours, we had 100 plus viewers for the entirety of that time, which is also fantastic. So that's the fun things that we were looking for out of that. Obviously, we were also looking to give a ton of stuff away. That was the easy part. We managed to get that stuff out, no problem. Here's what we gave away if you missed the show. And if you're watching it post, you can't win, but you can always be here next year. So we gave away the crashed X-Wing. So that actually went down to St. John, New Brunswick. So stayed in my home country, which is fantastic. And maybe someday when I get back to the East Coast, which shouldn't be difficult at all, that's where all my family is, maybe I'll go and visit this crashed X-Wing in its completed form. Obviously, we gave away some card sleeves. Patreon, we got to bump up JD. We have activation tokens that aren't here yet, but the second set, I should say, will be going out to that person, like I said, within the coming days. Ton of card sleeves. We gave those out to anyone who was a donator on the show. It's just an added incentive. So we want to thank Back to Basics for that. Obviously, a Bosk, a Sabine, 3 6-piece brush sets. Pally was fantastic. He actually donated a commander, I should say, to each of the battle forces, plus a battle force himself. Brian had 2 battle forces going out, a Din, an IG, Dragon's Den, one of my local gaming stores, the one I buy all my stuff from. They actually gave me a battle force to give away as well. think that was the one that Justice ended up having. Imperial Terrain, thanks very much. $325 STL file online vouchers went out. Dice Time gave away 3 sets of cards with 9 total, but we did them in groups of 3, a custom mug, and a sticker. Michael came on and he gave away a $25 gift card, a Grogu, a Boba, and a Gar Saxon. Legion Terrain had 3 $50 online gift certificates that went out. Ronan Frank's in chat right now. He did 3 painted, and by the way, purchased, painted, and ready to ship 3 custom commander slash operative that was custom as in terms of the winner's option. And we also did Dianoga campaign set. We just broke it out and gave 8 sets out, and as well as some assorted gamer grass tufts. So we did our part. We accomplished what we wanted to, and hopefully you guys really enjoyed that. The show was great as well. We added a ton of new donators on there: Olivia, Brendan, Seth, Paul, Shawn, Tyler, Justice, Emmanuel, Michael, John, Andrew, Nick. We already had Aaron, Bernard, Shawn, JD, Stan, Graham, Todd, Richard, Jacob, Ryan, and Donnie already on there. You guys got us to 1605 of the $3,000 goal as we work towards adding that bird dog. We're 53% of the way there. The train studio 2019 at gmail.com. That is where people were donating, and it was awesome to have that come through. So thank you very much to those folks. Helping out on the donations is one way. Helping out on the studio and joining it. Studio has been great. I've done some live shows. I've done some live connects, and I've been neck deep in this new Shire build, which is fantastic. So I'm looking forward to sharing a bunch of that. I have a weekly update to share. Jace was just down and brought some stuff here for the studio, to the studio. And he is got some stuff that he's going to work on back at his place, which is great. So him and I connect, every couple of weeks because, he's a good friend of mine and we work great together. So that was Big Jace, by the way. Little Jace and I are friends too, but he was not here. So that's what we got it going on. If you want to check it out, the Terrain Studio, it's on Patreon. You guys can go there. Check out all the good things. And if you wanted to see how to get those perks, they're all going to be via tiers on the Patreon. So that's how we're going to do things. Okay, how far did I get in? 28 minutes, and I've taken 0 breaths. Let's get into a little bit of news from the streets. Okay, so news from the streets is there is a slightly large tournament about to happen. I don't know how there's 24 people here too. That's fantastic. It's just me, by the way. So if you guys came for Jace, no disappointments, but he's not here tonight. But there's a big tournament happening in March, and I am super stoked. I was going to drive, folks, but then I came to the realization that because I'm heading down solo, and it's like 34 hours round trip, and I went to have a look at the flights, and the flights were obnoxiously less, like way cheaper than I had thought. I was looking at prices before, and they were just grotesque. And I don't know if that was just like flying out of my location or how that was, but everything was really bad for prices. And so I was going to drive. And then I had a look again, and they were way cheaper. So I just went ahead and booked a flight. So I'm all booked in, ready to go. I'm actually going to fly down Wednesday morning, get in around noon on Wednesday. So I'm just there to take it all in. I actually don't care too much how the tournament goes, to be honest, because it's been a little while since I've been at a convention, which like my longest streak ever not going to a tournament. I want to see a bunch of people. I want to meet a bunch of people that I've yet to meet. I've never been to Adepticon. This is like the big one of the big cons that I haven't gone to. And so I just want to take it all in and just really enjoy my time there. So I'm going Wednesday. I think I got one thing maybe booked for that evening. And then obviously I registered for the tournament. I'm going to walk around. I'm going to poke around and look and take my time and be not rushed about anything. So I'll take my time Thursday, obviously play Friday, see if I make it Saturday. If not, I'm going to play as many games of Legion as I can. I know there's open tables, etc. Michael Larson and I are going to team up for the team tournament. So shenanigans inbound for sure. I'm not even flying out to like Monday at 4 p.m. Like I'm taking it easy the whole time. So I got to book a hotel for Sunday night because I decided to extend my stay by a day. But I'm going to be staying with my good friend Christian, who I traveled with a lot, many years. So he's going to come down. So if you see me with a French Canadian, he's basically my shield. Because if I get, guys know how my trips to the US have gone lately. So he's basically my buffer. So I'm going to bring him. So tap him for some maple syrup, like, not don't actually put a tap into him, but shoulder tap him. He generally does bring maple syrup. I'm not even joking you. So I'll try to see if he wants to bring some down. And if you're with me and you guys are one of the first people, maybe ask us. Maybe he's got some. So that'll be a fun little bounty to claim there. So he's coming down with me, which will be great. We're also going to stay with a few other people. I think J Rod's going to join our crew. Ben's going to stay in our crew. So we're all kind of staying together, which will be fantastic. We'll be looking to do lots of things. So if you guys want to plan some dinners to go out, you guys want to do some meet and greets or whatever, hang out, I'm game for all of that stuff. So I'm really, really excited about it. So that's happening, obviously, March 22nd to 26th. I'll be there. I'll be playing. Not sure what I'm playing yet. I'm not sure. But you guys are going to know my prep and my evolution as we get to Worlds as well, because I'll be pretty transparent with that. But let's talk a little bit about the experience of registering for Adepticon. And if you got any stories, you guys feel free to share them in chat, or you can come in your roundtable. But anyway, I was all ready to go, no problem. I wasn't planning on booking a bunch of stuff, so I don't have the woe is me, like I missed out on all the hobby, sessions I want to get to, or the demo of this, or the game of that, the tournament of this. I'm going to one tournament, and luckily, AMG hadn't handled this. I think they handled the registration process for this. And I'm not sure if this is an AMG initiative or Adepticon or whatever, but I love the fact that I didn't have to rush to get into the tournament. And I'm really glad, because there was no rushing at all for the Adepticon registration. So we sat, myself, Ben, and Christian, we sat ready to go, poised. We jumped in a half hour early. Let's get ready, boys. Let's get ready to click. We clicked it. We're all in. Oh, wicked. The VIG badges. Let's get them. There's 300 left. Let's click, click, click. Awesome. We're all going through. Timeout, timeout, error, timeout, timeout. It was a repetitive cycle. It felt like Groundhog Day. We'd get, oh, you're at the registration screen. Oh, you've timed out. Oh, I'm still on the spinning wheel of death here. I can't get past this. We went on and on and on. Finally, I'd say maybe 20 minutes, realistically 25 minutes into the process, Christian's first one he kind of goes through. And of course, being Christian, what does he do? Well, he grabs a screenshot of his registration and posts it in our group chat to brag all about his registration. Not with a VIG badge, but he did get a premium on, which is fantastic for him. Next up, Ben's trying to get in. I think Ben had a previous engagement or work. He had to get there. He's like, boys, I'm on my last try. I'm going to give this a go. Hits it. Didn't think he was going to get there. Goes all the way through to payment. Times out. Gets kicked out. Refreshes luckily, and he's in the same spot. Clicks it. Gets in. Says goodbye. I got to go, boys. No problem. Ben, premium badge. So now I'm the only individual who's apparently not going to Adepticon, trying to get in. I wanted to get the badge because first time I want to go for the gusto, get the big thing. I don't get it, obviously. So I'm clicking through, trying to get the premium. I see it goes 300, 200, 100. It gets down to about like 66 badges or something around that number. And finally I get through. It was 55 minutes for me to get through the lineup to get there. And now I get it. My experience is not unique at all. It's not an Adepticon slight. It doesn't tell me anything about how they run the event. I don't think it's about that. I'm sure the people who are running it are organized and nice. I feel a little bit bad that they kind of had that like backup plan. Like, don't use the main site. We've got these 3 other ones, and they're going to handle the load and the weight. And I don't know what happened along the way. They're probably going to attempt to rectify it. And I know they've had this issue before because I was registered for a previous Adepticon, obviously, when Worlds was going to happen. But I would say this. I had a credit, and my credit just auto-applied. And so my $100 ticket, by the way, I did get a premium ticket, just went to $20. There was no like needing to find a code, look up an email, do this, confirmation, nothing. It was just there in my account. Pretty seamless process. So a plus on that. A little less of a plus on the registration, but I do hope that everyone who wanted to get in got in. I know that the other badges didn't seem to have a limit on them. Like I said, my first the first time I registered, I never had any of this. I picked a couple things, and that was fine. I did manage to get in a couple. I think I'm going to do a demo of that new Onslaught game just because a lot of people are kind of talking about it. So I think I signed up for maybe even 2 demos, just in case I couldn't make one. I forget what else I'm in. I think I'm going to do Blood and Plunder, just give that a little go. One of Big Jace has talked about that before. And then obviously Star Wars Legion, the doubles tournament. And I think I'm going to try to get some of the open tables. I didn't know if you had to register, but I'll have my minis. And if people want to throw down or meet in the evening or whatever, or just watch some games of Legion, I'm down for all that. But Anyway, I'm all registered. We're on our way to Worlds. I'll see you there if you're going. And if you're there and you see me, say hi. If you're across the table from me, good luck. Roll poorly. And then afterwards, we'll talk about all the poor dice. So, um, Ryan, yes, we're now a Blood and Plunder channel. Let's not jump the gun. I don't know. Maybe we're a D&D onslaught, onslaught podcast. I have no idea. Or maybe I'll pick up some sort of new game there. Who knows? But for right now, we're a Legion podcast because I like Legion, and I'm looking forward to all the things coming out. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So mark your calendars. We're starting the countdown for Worlds. I also saw that AMG, I always just jump on their Twitter and just to share some things there. So, hey, we're back, we're painting, and we're live. I think I seen LJ will definitely see me there. On that topic, I guess I'll do it now because I just prompted me there. Not that he prompted me, but he reminded me as we're there. I'm actually gonna have LJ on next week, so he's gonna come hang out. I think Brian's coming in. Probably Jace will be back. We're gonna invite LJ along. We're gonna do a preview of LVO, which I'm not going to, which I had a ticket for, but I'm not going to. Which is disappointing because I've been there before and it's always been a good time. But I just opted with the new rules. I wanted a little bit more time. That's a me thing. But we're going to talk all things LVO, so a nice preview show for that, and then we're definitely going to pick his brain about Worlds. He'll be at Worlds. We'll be at Worlds, and so I know it's time out, but man, March is going to come fast, especially with the new rules drops, and I'm going to be setting the bar for how much Legion I want to get in before then. You guys are going to help me keep honest on that. But we're going to be talking to him on the 17th, so regular show, 17th, regular time. Come in, you can ask your questions in chat. That'll be perfectly fine. We'll have a really, really robust conversation. And by the way, the 17th is going to be after the rules drop. And so we'll get some live reactions from both us and LJ himself in terms of what exactly we're going to all be reading in those days. So look forward to that. Yeah, Andrew, I won't be bringing the dice app with me. I'm gonna roll some real Legion dice. I gotta go to Worlds to play real Legion right now. Real Legion. So, um, yeah, Canadian Beer, you are not wrong. The League Judge channel is going to be busy. We are ready for it. We have a robust team of two of us. Just kidding. We got a few more that will handle all those. And you know what? I'll be perfectly honest. Our league has been so tame. It has been fantastically calm. Players are really fantastic at working things out, playing together, and we have had zero issues, which is fantastic. Yeah, we'll definitely talk all thing World LJ. I'm excited for the format. Hopefully, the document will be out by then. Maybe not. Maybe it will. But if it is, we'll talk about that as well. So. Yeah, let's I'll probably be exhausted. Yeah, you will be living on the rules forum. So I need a rules clarification for everything. I can't wait. If the Adepticon website wasn't robust enough to handle all the registrations, let's hope that the AMG rules form can handle all the simultaneous posts for rules questions there. So I expect some redundancies there. So have a close eye on that, and maybe what we'll do is we'll maybe tap LJ for on the 17th. Maybe what's the top 5 most common things asked already in the new rules or based on the new rules. So that will be good. Okay. Just leave the buses. Yeah, just leave the buses alone is what we need to really be saying, Justice. I should make a T-shirt. That'd be good. So like I said, they're back. I believe it was Stryker. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm right. Who shared a little comparison photo of the Dark Troopers in comparison to like a clone or a Stormtrooper. A Stormtrooper, I must have been. And they look fairly robust. They look like they're a bit taller, but maybe not astronomically taller. Although we do have that rocket guy who will be standing a little bit up. And thank goodness for silhouettes when it comes to that guy there. So go check that out. I don't usually watch the paint streams, but you guys know my feeling on painting. It's not my thing. I love great painted models. By the way, I got my first unit of Black Suns right over there. Mint. Jace did a fantastic job. We saw an inspirational paint scheme online. He adopted that one, and it looks very awesome with a little Jace flavor on it, which is super good. Maybe for some foreshadowing for Worlds there. So Stormtrooper and Cody, thank you, Stryker. I knew that was you. So let's get into a little bit of talk. We're going to do the tweets first, and then we're going to get into the unit. I'm going to just give you the overview of it. Obviously, we can handle some conversation about that as well, because I want to get really we don't have these on the table. I've been theory crafting a ton of just fire supports, just because it's my new thing, just to see how gross you can make dice pools. Basically, if it one shots a Jedi, that's worth it, in my opinion. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But Atomic Mass Games says it's time to see what a full platoon of Imperial Dark Troopers can do, and check out all their abilities in the new preview article. So there they are. We got Cricket Bat, we got Rocket Boy with rocket boots. Looks like the commander there with rocket boots as well, and then nice heavy. I love the two-handed heavy there in the background, kind of the Z6 style blaster that we got going on back there. So that's pretty straightforward. We also had the Moff Gideon tweet come out on the 4th. Assumes he knows everything, and check out all Moff Gideon's abilities in the preview article. I actually use that line a lot. Not that it's Moff's line, I didn't adopt it from there, but it's one of the things that I ask kids. I always, when they come in, I'll say, hey, assume I know everything, tell me it. And so I always start conversations with that. So I mean, why would a principal not know everything, right? So that just seems to be a stock standard for the position. So there's Moff. We all have our opinions about the paint job and the face and all that good stuff, but I think that he's still a cool model. I'm not a super fan of the cape look here, but there'll be people who will spice that up and it will look sharp. Not to knock whoever painted them; they're way better painter than I am. You know what I mean? Each has our own opinion. So let's get into a little bit about the Dark Troopers themselves here. Amazing unit in my opinion, and people will disagree for sure. 95 points. They are pricey, no doubt. We'll talk a little bit about when you add the heavies, how pricey this unit can actually get. But they do have 2 heavy slots, a personnel slot. And then I think it's a programming slot, I think, if I remember correctly, that little icon there. Could be wrong. They are armor and plotting. And so they've got the 2 keywords kind of, with a separation there. So typically kind of have a single line for that. But armor and plotting, we assume plotting is similar to what plotting was before. The best unit in the game had plotting before, but they took it off there. So that's why the E-webs are actually terrible now. They were much better when they had plotting. But that is now gone, but back, and we don't know if it means the same thing, but what the assumption is that it does. They do come in a unit of 3, but as I said, you can add 3 other models in this unit for sure. They are unconcerned, so that means that this unit cannot benefit from cover, and miniatures in this unit cannot be repaired or restored. So they are full armor, heavy troop, basically heavy trooper, which is kind of unique in the game. We haven't really had this ever. So that's kind of cool. So Poser got triggered, and Andrew is so hyped for the unit. They're also unstoppable, so they are eligible to activate during the activation while it has 1 or fewer face-down order tokens, and the unit may never have more than 1 face-up order token. When creating order pool, you add an additional order token to the corresponding to this unit's rank. So meaning you have 2 heavies in there. So when I was talking about the tokens earlier, if you're running a unit of Dark Troopers, you're going to be good. If you're running a unit of Dark Troopers plus another heavy or another unit of Dark Troopers, you will not have enough tokens. So thank goodness I ordered 2 sets, but I'm still not going to have enough if I want to go triple heavy. Triple heavy, you say, not possible? Well, let's wait. I think it is. Lots of people are going to be hyped for this unit. They have a crushing punch. We saw that in the TV series. Of course they do. It's a red and a white, and they also have the E11D blaster, 1-3, just a black dice, stock standard. They don't look like they pack much of a punch. Pun intended. They do punch well, but their gun is really something to be desired. Luckily, they have 2 heavies. We'll get into that in a second. They come in a unit of 3, like I said. Red dice saves. Red on armor seems real good. They are 2 health each and have no courage value. Also potentially great in the coming the pending game that we have if our understanding of suppression works as it does. Plotting, like I mentioned, and they only move speed 1. That means they don't move fast, but we'll get around that here in a minute. So let's have a look at some of the heavies. And when I say some, I mean lots. So they do have an XSIV or XS4 assault cannon. It's range 1-3, so stock standard with the unit. So coupled there, you're not having any different range bands. And it does add 4 black dice. So if you add this mini in there plus the unit, now you're throwing 7 blacks at range 3, critical 1. Seems not bad. That's a pretty decent punch. Obviously, this is coming in pretty hefty, 48 points. So you're really adding, another 48 onto that 95. So you're pushing pretty high value here. You can add another heavy or a second heavy, and it doesn't say anything about them being unique. So I'm a little unclear if you can add two of the same, but I'm going to assume that you can't, just because we haven't had that in the game before either. But I think there's probably some caveat of a rule I'm forgetting, but I'm assuming that you can have one of each here. So we do have the SM9 frag launcher. So this is going to be kind of like your rocket, similar to the B2 kind of rocket here. But this is a range 1 to 2. It is exhaustible, to note that there, but it does have cycle. So that is good. That's, I think, how most exhaust weapons should be, and probably a trend we'll see going forward. This is going to add 2 red and a black, and it adds, obviously, the SM9 frag launcher. You could also just probably throw the standard weapon with this one, too. So in those turns that you don't have, you're just going to add another black dice. It does have blast, which is really great. So when you put this coupled with the other pool, so if we go back and let's just say we add the assault cannon and the frag, we're going to basically now be throwing 8 black, 2 red with blast, critical 1, and impact 2. That is really, really awesome. That is quite a substantial pool. That is going to hit really, really, really hard. The Myrtleizer is another weapon that you could add. This is obviously going to add to your melee punch. If you want, it's going to be another 2 red and 2 red and a black. But it is going to give you suppressive, so you will actually add that suppression in melee, which is great. 36 points on this. I should say the frag launcher is 40, and the assault cannon being 48. So kind of diminishing here in points. But obviously the dice pools are getting a little bit smaller, as well as the range band. So I don't mind the frag launcher, to be perfectly honest. I think adding blast to the pool, just even adding that, makes that pool well worth it, in my opinion. You can also add, there's a personnel slot to just add another Imperial Dark Trooper. I'm not going to get into the whole ability that can you add a T-Series, et cetera, to these units, because we're going to wait for a clarification on that. There's lots of speculation, but really people are arguing two sides of an argument that they have no clear definitive answer on at this point. So it's not worth getting into, other than saying we're not going to get into it. So let's just stick with the cards that we have, because we do know that these fit the unit specifically. So we have Imperial Dark Trooper on here. It's just going to add 1 Imperial Dark Trooper mini. So obviously you're going to add another black to your pool, but it's going to fill your personnel slot and not your heavy slot, which is really, really nice. So now you can add 2 heavies plus the personnel. Yeah, how many points is that? It's a lot. You're going to be pushing, maybe upwards of 190 points here, which will be really, really crazy. Oh, for sure, Striker. We're going to get in all this fire support shenanigans and just straight craziness. Just so much. I'm going to jump to the round table really, really quick. Note the line there. My dice pools are bigger than your dice pools, and so we're going to get into there. You guys can give me all your crazy scenarios, and all the things that you've sort of cooked up, which will be fantastic. Moving on up, Legion Ruts and what in the worlds is all topic. So we'll get there soon, but let me jump back. Whoops, no, and there we go. So that is what we have there. So you can add an Imperial Dark Trooper, just add the extra die, then you can get into the Assault Cannon and the Frag Launcher. So if you really kind of want to add that 11 dice pool with Blast, Impact 2, Critical 1, and just hit hard, you can do it. You don't need a fire support to make this unit literally hit like a truck. So now they are plotting, so they're all going to move speed 1 to get the shot, but you do get 2 actions. 2 activations. So you could get 2 attacks with this in a given turn if you wanted to do, obviously, a recover action in between. So we have that. And then there is that programming slot, Programmed Loyalty. This unit can only be issued orders by a command unit. And when it does that, though, it actually is going to gain retinue. Why would you not want this unit to have retinue? Retinue is by far, like, in my opinion, one of the best keywords in the game. It's not the most powerful, but the fact that retinue comes in and just triggers every single time, or generally every single time, and can give you that really strategic token, and you have some choice. It's absolutely fantastic. So we do like that retinue. Yeah, so that's the Dark Troopers. Models are fantastic. I really like them. I'm not so keen on, like I said, on the rocket guy, just because I don't know. I'm not really a huge fan of like the sort of flight stands and I guess guys on stilts making them a little taller, it's a little flimsy. I like to do my own sort of poses, so I am hoping that there's a lot of posability in here. And if we can get some alt poses or ability to make alternate poses, I think that'll be kind of cool. Just because I don't want to have, if I want to roll three, I don't want to roll all of them looking the same. So welcome Bernard, checking in from Ottawa. All right, let's have a look. We'll slide over. We'll get all your thoughts on this in the roundtable, but I think that this is good. I think we've been here before, where we kind of have these really priced units when they come out, and we hit them with the heavy tax on the heavies. It's too early to tell if this is going to be too much. To me, first bluff, they seem to be a little on the high side, but for what you get in the two activations, I think that that's probably baked in here a little bit. And so I can see where that extra tax comes on that heavy. So, because a heavy that you can use twice in a turn and it's not double the cost of another heavy, I think that's where we're kind of seeing these settle out. So, first glance, they look expensive, but I quickly have to remember that I could possibly get these guys shooting twice in a turn. And that brings me back to a little bit more of a realistic position. So that's just my kind of take on them first blush. So all right, let's get into Moff right here. So a lot of the internet was going a little crazy about Moff. He's underpriced, no question. The 12 health for sure, extra mini, 100%. I was mostly talking about the heavy cost. I think the unit cost itself possibly could be even too cheap. But then again, you get a cost savings. If I think it's too cheap and the heavies are more, then maybe that's the trade off there. So, but the unit itself at 3, that's still 6 health for a 95-point unit. It's not bad. And when you throw a heavy in there and you're kind of around that 120, 130 cost for 8 health, then you kind of go a bit higher and add in just the stock standard personnel mini. That's a pretty beefy unit at red dice saves and armor. I don't think that they're over costed. Specifically, just speaking about the heavy, looks like it might be on a touch on the high side, but then using that secondary lens to maybe explain the value that's added there. So, all right, so having a look at Moff getting in here, a lot of people really thinking that 100 points might have been too low. I think 100 points in a vacuum is probably okay to look at it there. I think 100 points for him when you start making comparisons from older units, I think that's where people started like sort of undervaluing or is basically thinking that the points on him were a little bit too low. Like the value given to him was a little bit undercosted. But again, he's not out yet, and we haven't played any games. So let's just pretend that all things are equal at this point. So. Yeah, so Striker, you can't really do that. So he's saying 100 points without the 3-pip is fine. Yeah, but we can't give him a cost and then strip away all the things that he has. That's I know that you're just making a point, but the point I'm trying to make is that he has what he has, and so you got to look at that value. Is it too little for what's there? He's got great cards. We'll get there in a second for sure. But for 100 points, what does he got here? He's got training. I always forget what those. I think they're command upgrades. I forget what the exact name for it. Somebody will remind me. I think maybe it's command. So he's got the training, the gear, and the gun, and observe 1. So it's a free observe action, which is quite awesome. I like the free observe here as opposed to other units where it's just like I got nothing to do with this guy, so I'll just take an aim or take a dodge, and they just don't feel like you're getting value out of all their actions. But chucking an observe on here feels really good. Let me just support you. I don't have. I mean, it's kind of like spotter, but like a half-priced spotter, and it's free. So I kind of like I like that. He's got Entourage Imperial Dark Troopers, which is crazy. If you want to buy 3 boxes of Dark Troopers, which I do, and just taking some more, which is fantastic. So he has Ruthless, which we haven't seen, but that's when another friendly trooper unit at range 2. So it's, again, we're getting into that sort of at range, not a range band, but at. And I think we've kind of learned that means that all the minis must be within that range band. I think is kind of where we've settled out on the interpretation of that. Forgive me if I'm incorrect, or correct me if I'm wrong. And in line of sight, and has a face up order token. So there's a lot of stipulations on here. So it must be a core trooper, obviously friendly, must be at range 2, must be in line of sight, and must have a face up order token. So there's a lot of things there. But when that happens, it's ruthless, because what they can do is they can suffer one wound to perform one free action, which is great because it doesn't give any stipulation on that. So basically, it looks like they can do any free actions. So which is fantastic. Or maybe it's one free action. Does it need to be a free action, or is it just they can perform an action? I guess I'm not quite sure on how that works. Somebody can help me out there. So is it any action, or is it only they can perform one of their free actions? I'm not 100% sure how that reads. He also has Sharpshooter 1, which makes a lot of sense, because typically these Imperial officers or Imperial leaders will have that, and Tactical 1, which is fantastic. So then you can have that move, get a free aim, take a shot with Sharpshooter 1, which is great, and his gun is not half bad. 2 black and a red, Pierce 1. That feels quite good. I do like the surge to crit, so he feels almost like he's kind of worth moving up there and shooting. I know Veers is a guy who's got chucks a couple white dice with surge crit, but he never really feels like it's kind of worth exposing him. Gideon doesn't feel too bad, and having surge to block is also quite nice. Stock standard Imperial health pool at 5, and the 3 courage is fantastic. I really do like that. That is going to be any Courage 3 characters are going to go up in value in terms of what I think in the new Legion that we're about to play. So combat training is great, 2 red, and like I said, dice pool is 1 red, 2 black with Pierce, which is super fantastic. So not bad for 100 points. I think just based on that, 100 points does feel quite good. We'll get into his command cards and we can see how they help him out. But before we do, somebody help me out with performing a free action. Do they just get to do any action, or is it only one of the free actions that they have available? I'm kind of curious on that. So let me know what you think. So before we get into that, let's have a look at the Darksaber. So this will be the 3rd Darksaber that we've had in the game now, which is fun. 15 points. I think they're all maybe 15 points at this point. And it is 5 black dice. So adding that into his little attack pool, which is fantastic. It'll be this or the red, so it's up to you. I guess the ceiling's much better on this one. But gains demoralize, one of my favorite keywords for sure. It's like New Ways. It doesn't specify. Okay, fair enough. Which is great, Ryan. That gives more versatility, I guess, to that free action. Demoralize 1, I really like Demoralize. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that when I talk about potential worlds list for me. But I think the ability to have that control of where that suppression goes down at the start of basically after your rally is going to be really, really strategic, based on the fact that it's only available free actions to core that are specialists given. Core are the specialists given an aim or a surge. Okay. I really like the demoralize because that constant checking and suppression, as we've come to understand it, is really pivotal. So when you're able to just kind of pinpoint that suppression onto a unit at the start, potentially shoot them as well, or split that up is fantastic. We know suppressive weapons are great, putting 2 on a single unit, but sometimes you actually want to spread that out purposefully. And when you don't have multiple guns in your own pool, or an inability to be able to do that, that demoralizes kind of like that's really almost like a split fire for the purposes of being able to get suppression out there. But there's no rolling of dice. And you just hand it out, which is great, and it is range 1 to 2 for that. So, and he also has immune pierce, which is fantastic. Keeps him alive against those guys that throw those real big pools that we're all scared of. The Jedi, impact 1 and pierce 1 on that saber as well. So decent enough attack pool. I feel like the dark saber, like any of the 5 dice pools, sometimes can let you down, but he does have surge crit, which is great. So that just makes that pool a little bit scarier there for sure. And the Pierce one is always fun. So would have preferred cunning. Yeah, I don't disagree, Ryan. I think cunning is a really great keyword, but I think like you start to even maybe devalue characters like a Krennic if you add cunning on here for the 100 points as well. So if he has all this plus, that just seems to be a bit much. You'd have to obviously take something away, but then I feel like you're starting to get in the Krennic realm anyway. So I'm okay that Moff's a little bit different here. So let's get into the cards for Moth, so I can leave some time for roundtable. And I do want to talk a little bit about the movement as well. Um, yeah, okay. Sorry, I was just reading chat there for a minute. So here's the cards. You can give me whatever preference order you like them in terms of strongest to least strongest, as long as you start with the three. I will agree with you. And it's kind of unique in the fact that the one pip here to me, and I think to a lot of other people, so this is not earth shattering hot take at all. It's kind of a little meh. It's definitely like, okay, cool. I want to have Moff go. I want to make sure that he goes in and gets to hit hard, or potentially gets to hit hard. I'm going to give him that a little bit of wider breadth, so he can reach out a bit further. Obviously, with the relentless is nice, so he can double move. I'm going to give that a little bit of defense here, so give me that aim token so I can re-roll on this dice pool, get the biggest splash, and I'll be a little bit defensive while I do that too. So not a bad card at all. Anytime you can just give basically a character an aim and a dodge and let them kind of move twice and attack, which is just straight good. And not only is it a melee attack, but he could also basically move twice and have a shooting attack as well, which is kind of nice. There's a lot of versatility in here. So you got some utility in terms of free actions, and then you got some versatility in terms of how you can attack. So it's a good one pip. But I think in comparison to the others, just it's not as flavorful for me. But it's a cool art, so that's a plus. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the two pip here. So you have something I want, and then obviously in comes the Dark Troopers, really iconic from the show. I like it. They did great work on the card command hands, command name here. So this is 2 units. This card cannot be chosen during the first round. So a caveat there. After order has been issued, choose a friendly Imperial Dark Trooper unit that has a face-up order token, and remove that unit from the battlefield. So just yeet it right off the battlefield, but you're taking it off in a good way. So obviously it needs to get a face-up order token, and then you're going to take it, and then you can remove that unit. Keeping all the tokens. So if they had any tokens, or obviously the issue tokens that they have, you have those. Then you get to place it on the battlefield beyond range 2 of all enemy units, and then flip the order token face down. So that's basically its entire activation. However, you've just taken a plotting unit and effectively moved it. You can move it from one corner to the other. So really, really quick, rapid reinforcement, if you will, but better. Obviously, because you get to come in, without having to sort of, I guess, I don't want to say telegraph your movement. You could really be anywhere, so really hard to counterplay around this, or counterplay around this everywhere. You also get to come in with potentially having another activation to go. So as long as you live, sounds to me like you're going to be able to go again, which is really, really scary. And the fact that you can do this with 2 units feels really fantastic. Now it says you keep all the tokens you have. So I'm going to wait for the new rules to come out. But if that includes objective tokens, this feels really, really awesome. So being able to kind of run away with maybe a box, or maybe just parachute in with a bomb, all of those things feel really, really good. So let's just wait and see how this works. Okay, so the timing on the 2-pip will get an FAQ. After whose order does it trigger? Every other card has the same timing. This is missing it. Okay, so Ryan is declaring that this will probably be changed. I can't make that statement because I don't know it to be accurate. But as I was just previously saying, let's wait and see what and how this plays. It sounds like it's going to be really good. I still think that being able to sort of parachute in at range 2 of the place that you want to be at feels really good, and suddenly just makes yeah, for sure, Andrew, I'm right there with you. Bombing run just feels great. Breakthrough feels great. Maybe box grab feels great. Maybe parachuting into pressure of VAP that has been under protected feels great. There's all kinds of things that feel great. Maybe just parachuting back next to a hostage that your opponent thought was going to get away scot free feels great. Like there is so many great uses for this card, and this is why I think the card is really, really good. I I think it's just really going to be one of those things that when you pull it off, it's going to feel awesome. It's going to be one of those things that your opponent's going to constantly have to have in the back of their head about when that's going to happen and how that can happen. So, um, LJ just kind of clarifying after orders would be the issue orders step. So after orders have been issued, choose a friendly Imperial Dark Trooper that has a face-up order token. So um, I'm thinking that he's just basically saying that the units could have orders, and then after that, then you could basically choose this unit. So, but anyway, if it's asked, that'll be answered. I have a strange feeling. Okay, there we go. So feels really good. I think it's going to be super fun, and I can't wait to try it out because I think it's going to be great. I am glad that it only says 2, so you can't do it 3 times, even though you could possibly bring 3 of these guys. So, um, yeah, and so okay. Again, you guys can keep that in the chat, and we'll keep pressing on with how awesome this will be. I mean, asked and answered. So if that's the answer, that's the answer. If it gets clarified later, it gets clarified later. But we're kind of just going based on speculation of reading the English language here. So, and then thanks for the interpretation, LJ there, or the clarification, I should say. Um, the last one, moment of consideration, which is really crazy. This had me and several people in the Discord just going crazy with the dice pools, and I think we've basically come up with a number of pools that we have categorized as. On average, Jedi dice. That's kind of the heading there. So, moment of consideration. This is 3 core or heavy units. I love that. I hope that those little wings on there don't disappear. Like that wasn't like a mistype. Again, I'm reading the cards as is. I'm so glad this says heavy. It would have been cool if it was support, and I think it still would have been good on support. But I love that it says heavy, which is fantastic. So units issued orders by this card gain fire support. So we'll get into that in the roundtable, but really quickly, ATST fire supporting into an ATST feels really, really good. ATST fire supporting into the Dark Trooper dice pool feels exceptional. ATST fire supporting into a Black Suns that's fully kitted out feels just absolutely ridiculous. It's like 22, 23 dice. I've done a bunch of math sims, sims on it. On average, I think that dice pool, the biggest one we had on average was hitting between I think it was like 16 to 17 hits and averaging around 14 wounds into red dice saves. All just really, really rank attacks, which is crazy. I Bosk shot with full Dark Trooper support. Like here we go, 3 red, 10 black, 4 white, blast, suppressive, pierce 1. We had pools up to like impact 7, impact 8. Did we get to impact 8? I'm just trying to think here. Black Sun. So the Black Sun's pool will have impact 3. Fire supported, that would be impact 4 from the ATST, so that's impact 7. But potentially, if they're at range 1, it would be surge crit as well with 1 to 2 aims. So you're re-rolling 4, and I think that's a 22 dice pool. It's 9, 11, 12, 23 dice pool actually. So yeah, saber throw for sure, striker. Yes, because you got that impact 7, pierce 3. There is so many crazy things you can do with this. I love it for all the reasons, and I know people will say like, but how many points is that? If you throw that all in and erase a 150 plus point unit, then it's worth it because you still have your units and you got them for multiple other turns. This is just one turn of doom right here. So blowing huge units off the table or units that carry 3-4 command cards with them, it's all great. 2 ATSCs, there we go, Jake. I knew we got to an impact 8. Yeah, so that would be impact 8, which would be crazy. We won't even do the math on white armor vehicles. It's bad. It's just really bad for them. So they're just dead. On average, it kills any white armor save in the game. On average, I think that dice pool actually kills every red armor unit as well, as long as it doesn't have cover. On average, this is all average rolls. So we were messing around the other night when we were all in chat and like saying like, do you want to rely on making 14 to 16 saves and hoping that average saves you? And the general consensus was no. But I think you can do some crazy things with this. Yes, they're all pricey, but if I'm going to try it, I'm going to try it once and just have a story to tell. So I do think it's really, really awesome. I also think it's really cool if you were thinking about, parachuting your dark troopers so that they get at the range band that they need to be, and then play the moment of consideration to then fire support and ATSD from the range band it is. You sort of triangulate that fire support, you can get that off, and now suddenly a shot that you didn't think was possible because you were kind of facing the enemy, now the enemy's sort of in your face, and then that fire support comes out of nowhere. All crazy things. So I think the card is really amazing. It's a reason to bring Moff for me. Generally, at first blush, those sort of mid-range characters I'm not super fan of. Generally, generics are a way for me to go. But in order to pull this off, and the fact that dark troopers can parachute and move all over the table, all this has me, let's say, giddy. So maybe Moff giddy in for trying this out. So pun intended, I have my dad card, so I'm good. Certified dad jokes are allowed. So Moff Gideon, excited about that. Dark Troopers, I will buy 3 because I will want to try that someday as well. I'm thinking that they're probably more of a 1 and 2s for me personally, more times than not. And thank goodness for the pass mechanic. And I love the double activation. So the double activation coupled with the pass mechanic for me really feels like a really strong combo and makes me kind of feel a little bit better about taking probably a lower activation list, because I think the timing windows and being able to kind of go twice really sort of messes with that straight, like I have more activations than you sort of window. So looking forward to all of that. So even without Dark Troopers, he's very good. I do agree. I don't think you have to have Dark Troopers, because I think if you're running ATST or even Gav tanks, Gav tanks with Arsenal and fire supporting into to Troopers, that can be really, really scary. A unit shooting out of the back of a Gav tank and the Gav tank fire supporting into that, so that you can control that range band very easily. That also feels really, really good. So, there's all kinds of reasons that I think that 3 pip is really, really good. So yeah, I do like that for sure. And probably secretly I'm still most excited about just having my dark troopers pop in somewhere on the table. So yeah. Okay. Well, that's a lot. That's all the impressions on that, and I'm happy that we had a really good crowd here too, hanging out with us. So let's talk a little bit about movement. I know this came out before, but we just didn't have a window of opportunity, or we didn't have a show to talk about it. But obviously, we know that there's some movement rules that came out. There's a big blurb here. About movement that AMG released, talking about the core mechanics. This is somewhere where I guess like when we talk about the game maybe not changing so much, I really actually think this is one of the more impactful things. Not a negative about it. I just think that while I totally agree, the basic mechanics of movement are very familiar. We all do it. It's basically the most common action in the game. I do think that the new way that we're potentially going to interact here with the kind of climb, clamber, and the speed one movement, and kind of seemingly ignoring the height of some terrain, is going to be huge. I don't think that it's going to wreck the game by any means, but man, some characters just got really, really good, and I'm interested to see what happens to scale if scale kind of becomes a little bit more powerful, or maybe scale. Maybe you just get like a speed 2. I don't know. I'm totally speculating, but I'm hoping that scale didn't get a devaluing with the new movement rules. So for sure. So this is kind of what we had here. This is sort of the text version that was shared. So to perform a standard move, take a movement tool of lower or equal speed of the movement of the moving unit and place it flat on the battlefield so that the end wholly touches the mini, so nothing unique there to the unit leader, obviously. Then the player adjusts the joint movement. Okay, we all know this. After the movement tool has been placed, you pick up the unit leader and you place that wholly on the other end, and that's all stock standard. Um, So the unit may choose to use a different movement tool or lowered speed when performing a move otherwise specified. So generally all seems to be normal stuff there. After placing a unit leader, a miniature, pick up the other miniatures in the unit, place them on cohesion. If for any reason that miniature cannot be placed in cohesion at the end, move it as close as possible to the unit leader. So again, seems all good. Yeah, you do see 14 likes, Jake. We appreciate that in there. So yeah, so effectively that is pretty basic, and I'm glad that there isn't any fundamental changes there, or not any big changes. Where we have seen some changes here is that miniatures can make standard moves onto or through obstacle terrain that is shorter than the height of the unit silhouette. I like this for a lot of reasons, and I dislike this for a couple reasons. And my dislike is that I just think, wow, some of those units that were kind of hindered before from getting to me and wrecking me like a lot, now just got so much faster. I'm looking at you, Commander Vader. But it makes sense to me. I hate that you got slowed down by obstacles that you placed, because it's like it was never more of a feels bad moment than it's like, all right, I'm going to put this here, this fortified position. I want to position this so I can kind of give myself a little cover on this intercept, the transmission mission, and crap. Now I'm slowed down, and that last I needed to move, shoot, but now I got to move, and now I'm exposed, and I slowed myself down, and I should have thought about that better. I should have left a gap or a window I'm leaving an inch base between these. No specific reason, player who's across the table from me, but there's all kinds of reasons that I hated to slow myself down. So anyway, that's fine. That's cool. They can vault over all that stuff, which is really cool. Probably going to want to get your silhouette out at the start of the game and kind of measure that scatter terrain that's around there. But effectively, as Canadian Bear pointing out, unhindered. We like it. So that is one of the changes, and they just made it uniform that it's the silhouette height. That's great. So when a unit is overlapping an obstacle terrain feature, it may perform a standard move if its vertical distance changes not greater than the height of the moving unit's silhouette. So if you wish to move onto or off of or through an obstacle greater than the height of the silhouette, they must instead perform a climb. Miniatures on notch bases may not climb. You will basically have to climb if it's over the height of your silhouette. That's not it's not different really than what we've been used to. So again, that taking your tool and measuring around on the table is quite important, I think, at this point. So then we have the addition here about climbing, and I'm not sure if clamber is going to be different. And like I said, we don't know about scale, but the climbing says here sometimes units maneuver on to tall pieces of obstacle terrain. This is accomplished by performing a climb. Miniatures on notch bases may not climb, so not really any different there. To perform a climb, a unit performs a move as normal, except that it must use a speed 1 tool. So that is way different than we were doing before. So no longer are you kind of just moving from that like physically adjacent lower position to that like next highest vertical position, and then kind of cohering here. Now you're just basically going from where you are and moving a speed 1, which is fantastic and really helps out units that were kind of more or less stuck on the ground based on action economy. So I think that this really opens up the game, and I think in that introductory statement there, I think there's some discussion here that, or maybe it was in another part of the article, but really what they were mentioning was in the playtesting, I think they were talking about really opening up that vertical space. You can go back 100 episodes and hear us talk about all the reasons why we think that verticality in this game is important. Look at any terrain table that I've ever made in the last 3 years, and I'm all about having multiple levels. So for me, I love this. But again, it really scares me that some units that I could kind of manipulate based on positioning or felt safe based on the terrain elements that were on the table. Fine, you're on that side, you're stuck on that side, you're slow, you probably aren't going to go over, so you're going to take the long way around. That's no longer a factor. The calculus now needs to change, and so everybody needs to be more aware that units are just expeditiously moving around on the table. In some cases, dark troopers are just dropping in beside you, so beware of that as well. So now this speed 1 is great. Miniatures just move up vertical distance up to height 1, so not exceeding height 1. And I had a question, obviously it's not answered here, but I'm wondering how height 2 is handled. And I'm wondering how units can move up to the top of height 2 if they can at all. And maybe they can't. Maybe maybe miniatures are going to be kind of limited, or maybe there's going to have to be a physical platform. And if there's no physical platform, Maybe they can't. I don't know. I wonder all those things. Um, so yeah, so basically that's what they're going to do. They're going to move that speed one, which is really good. So any units that can like double move and get free actions feels really good. Any units that basically can give other units movement is going to be cool. Because I think movement is obviously king in this game in most respects. The fact that now you're going to be able to move over things that you couldn't previously do is going to just make, I think, the game feel a little faster. Um, and so maybe we'll have engagements occurring a little bit quicker. Maybe we'll just have more engagements, or maybe there's going to be just sort of more of a move to be either super aggressive, or maybe gunlines are going to come back in where it's going to be all about like just being as still as possible and just and trying to take that onslaught in waves. So who knows what it will do? But I'm pretty solid in my prediction that it's going to be impactful for sure in the game. So that's my thoughts on that, and we can get into that in terms of roundtable and your sort of thoughts on that. So it's 121. I will do roundtable for 19 minutes. I don't want to go any longer than that so that I can do some other things here in the evening. But I do appreciate the big crowd we had tonight, which is fantastic. I'm going to hit the roundtable discussion, and then I'll let you guys call in. If we have a cycle, I will reserve the right to kick people out after your time. So try to stick to the topics. It's always fun when we do. So let's get into it. Okay, so we are ready for the roundtable discussion. So basically, how it works, if you're new here or haven't been here before, I'm going to put a little chat link in the chat box, and you can call in. It's ideal if you have headphones. It's really ideal if you have a camera so we can see you. I'll drop you in the box. You can pick one of the discussion topics. Please identify what it is. We'll sort of spitball around that. If we get a few people, that's great. If I have people calling in and I'm full, I'll let you know that I am full, and then I will see some people out. Not rudely, but that's just kind of how it works. We like to cycle as many people through as possible. So let me get the link ready, and I'll chuck it into the thing. The chat window. Sorry, I just need to grab one more window because I didn't have the interview one up because no one was here tonight with me, but I got it, and it is open for business. There you go. All right, and in the meantime, I will just hang out, chatting a little about Legion. It usually doesn't take too long for us to get some callers in. Oh, look at that, we already have one. All right, well there we go. Let me grab this individual. There we go. Let me get Andrew in. Andrew, you can hear me, eh?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Amazing. All right, you are going to this box tonight. So what do you got, Andrew? What's on the docket? Where are we hitting?
No, as I said before, I'm super excited about the Dark Troopers and Moff Gideon. They we were talking about the points for them. I was talking to one of my Legion buddies about this. I was commenting about how expensive the heavies were, but he put it in good terms. He's like, you simply you can say you're getting two activations for the price of one unit. So if you look at like you're getting a 16, if it's like a 48 point upgrade heavy, you're getting it for 24 points twice. And
Right,
then it doesn't look so bad.
right, and you're also backing those heavies with armor and 2 wounds.
Right. Yeah,
So
that too.
and they're, like I said, I think the base cost of that unit might actually be a really great value when you look at that for 6 wounds for 95 points in armor. That feels quite good. Then when you add that
Mm,
heavy in, yes, the cost goes up, but you're adding 2 wounds to the pool. In some respects, if you add that assault cannon, you're basically you're more than doubling the output of fire, adding 2 wounds and still feeling pretty good about it. So and then doing that twice feels real good. Like if I can get
yeah.
if I can get 2 7 black dice pools for about 136 points or whatever it is, 137 points, then that feels pretty good. That's not
Mhm.
too far off most other units that are not armor and not red dice. So yeah, no, I think they are. Yeah, I think we're just used to, we got a little sticker shock on that 48 point heavy. But then when you kind of take a step back, like I said, re-examine that, you feel pretty good. So do we have the new camera yet,
Yeah.
boys? Sorry, I just got here. Nick, we do not. Nick, we are. Let me just quickly flash there. We are 16:05 on the way there, so we're getting there. It was like hefty, it was a hefty goal. Nick, who's on the list, helped us get this far. But yep. Sorry, Andrew. I think I got another. Keep going, Andrew. Though I'm going to add
Yeah.
your favorite caller in mind, the
Oh,
webmaster.
wonderful. It's Orion.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, so I've been having fun. As soon as everything dropped, I got into list crafting. And I'm actually, I don't know if you take future Legion lists for Make It Better, but I do have one eventually for you to throw in.
Yeah, you can send us a list. When you say future Legion, are you thinking like post 16th Legion?
Well, like, well, the lists with Dark Troopers in them. I don't know if you take future
Oh,
lists, future
well,
models.
I mean, here's the thing. I think we're probably okay with that because I don't think we're getting anything else for that. And when you drop that, the very next time I'm going to get to that, anyways, is probably going to be because we'll have LJ on the 17th, 24th. So why don't you send that to me, and then that'll be with new rules, and basically we'll know exactly how they work. So yeah, and plus I'm super excited to talk Dark Troopers. So I'll give you a pass on their not yet released, and I'm not sure how much we can make it better, but we'll certainly give it a try. So, yeah.
Shh, don't tell that to Ryan. You didn't hear anything of that, Ryan.
Yeah.
You mentioned
Ryan
nothing about future Legion. You heard nothing.
Ryan's just really disappointed that it actually is triple heavy and not triple support because he wanted E-Webs to finally be good when they were fire supported by something
Yeah,
that was awesome.
that's tough.
So actually, I don't know why everyone's sleeping on it, but I'd rather have a unit that surges to crit than doesn't surge at all.
I mean, that's what Black Suns do with a frag grenade. Surge crit, my friend.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm gonna say the same thing that got me banned from the Discord. Like, if your opponent lets you do that, they're probably not that great to begin with.
I I
Like it,
like
I mean, it's like
I think
Oh
that's
dear.
partially
I get what you're saying there, but it's just like
I think that's partially insulting
you
though.
gotta
Like,
play
but
you gotta play
you're basically
perfectly.
saying everyone that I've ever unloaded a full Black Sun dice pool into should have been better.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying they should have read the table a little bit better because that's what it is. Like it's like I get a lot of guys are like, man, look at this die pool, look at this die pool, but like you're looking at it like you're playing perfectly, and that's if you're hitting everything. Because at the end of the day, this is a dice game.
Okay, but
Like
I've tried to explain the math. The triple aim dice pool with that Black Suns on average is 10. That is the average for that.
I know, but it's a
So
dice game. Like you can do the whole like that's the thing that like gets me in trouble a lot is I don't believe in those like laws of averages at all because at the end of the day like
those
it's
tried
a
and
dice
tested
game like
methods of mathematics seem foolish.
which is why I teach English but like it at the end of the day like it's a dice game like you could do really well or you could just do very poorly like
I
it
guess
happens at the end of the day
I
it's
guess
whatever
that's
the
why
dice gods decide.
I guess that's why you take the insurance policy of something big with a 22 or 16 whatever dice pool and shoot it into something, and you just say, okay, on average I should hit you 12 times. You have 5 models, on average you should save half of these. On average, saving half of them still means you die. So like some people look at, why would you put so many dice into this unit? You were going to kill them anyway. This is why.
Yeah,
This is why you would do that, because activations are king, right? So
like there's that aspect of it. I mean everyone plays differently, like that, and with that, that's part of the reason why I'm 100% out on Dark Troopers.
yeah, tell
Um,
me, explain that. Like, give a your actual opinion, because I mean, you're out on a unit that's not even out yet.
so it's okay. So I know we play real Legion here. despite having a TTS league, which I do enjoy, by the way.
And this is a no Shawn death, by the way, but yeah, I put it up there just for you.
I get that. I wish I could, but I don't think the Canadian government will let me in. But anyway, so like I'm always list building. I'm always theory crafting about what I as a player want to do with my play style. So one, like Dark Troopers, they just don't fit into my play style. Two, I'm not a huge fan of their cost and like the keywords they have and the weapons they have just don't like shock and awe me at all. Like
You think 95 points is too much or not enough for the base?
For the base, I think it's fine. It's like I knew coming out, I was like, okay, if it's 95 points base, we're gonna be looking at like high 30s, 40s for upgrades. The keywords on there, like everyone's like, oh, it's got full armor, but I'm like, yeah, like it's got full armor red saves, but it's not gonna get any cover. You can't repair it, which is why the Saber Tank of the AAT have been king, is because you can repair them. It's the plotting, because I still remember how bad plotting was when E-Webs came out, and it didn't feel good. The double activation, I feel like they're going to be very, very timing sensitive because it says you can't have two face-up order tokens. So part of me with that, again, we have no idea what's going to happen in the next month, but and who knows, we may not even get the full actual rules on these texts because it's just reminder text we're reading off of. But what happens if I have a Dark Trooper with a face-up order token and I pull a heavy unit and it's only those Dark Troopers? Did I just burn an activation on them? It to me, it's a lot of people putting too much faith in one unit just by looking at the single die pools, not really looking too much at like what's going into the rest of the army. Like I know Gideon's going in there. Dark Troopers, like I know a lot of guys today were like, oh, it's 220 points for Dark Troopers. I'm like, that's a lot of units. That's about a quarter of your army, plus you're taking Gideon with the Dark Saber, because why not? So you've spent a good chunk of your army at that point on two units. It in an objective-based game, there's ways to force your opponent that does that to having two units left to play objectives that they don't really want to. I know the 2-pip is another talking point, and it's as it's written right now, and I could be wrong because who the hell knows what's going to happen, but objective tokens can't leave the battlefield. And that 2-pip specifically says all tokens attached to it. So I think a lot of guys are like, oh, we can take, X objectives with it, but I think at the end of the day, it may not work out like that, and a lot of people will pump the brakes, and I'm going to start seeing messages of, man, this sucks, I bought 3 boxes of Dark Troopers, and it's not going to work the way I want them to. I spent 150 plus bucks, and it, like, to me, it's like, something comes out, like we do this all the time, something massive comes out, and then everyone just hard counters it immediately. Spiders come to mind, like, yeah, they went up in points, but battle droids are cheap as fuck. Like, it's not going to be hard to include Ion in a lot of things. I think a lot of GAR players are freaking out, though, because they don't have a lot of impact or critical like the Empire has. Rebels have a ton of surge to crit with Pierce. So I think Galactic Civil War is not going to have a problem with this. Droids might have a problem if you don't bring Ion. GAR's definitely going to have a problem with it, though.
You think Ion's going to be the answer to stop Dark Troopers?
I think so, and it's that plotting, because it's so bad. Like, there's a reason why plotting got killed as a keyword, because it killed units, and that one keyword, it's in there to keep them in check, because if they don't have plotting and activate twice, nothing is stopping players at that point. With the new rules with suppression that we know are coming out of, I'm just going to double move this unit in with intercept and keep it there, and I'm going to score the objective every single time, and you can't take me off this point because they're always going to be scoring.
They could also just drop onto the intercept point and say the same thing.
Yeah, they could.
Mhm.
I think the problem with that is it's that range 2 band, and since you should, I'm not saying everyone is, but you should be always measuring, like it won't be that hard to counter.
So what's the going to be the ruling on dark troopers just like moving once and then standing by? Can you remove the suppression token? No, you can't because they have no
No, you can't.
courage.
Yeah.
So like you could
The
really just be
problem
doing
there
that.
problem there is that it's range 2 at that point.
I know, but I'm just saying that if it's about an intercept point and you want to score it 2, then there's
Yeah. Yeah, there's
mathematically you
nothing
will
wrong with
have to
that.
then be triggering that. So
Well, then it goes into the timing of which activation are you going to stand by?
well, I would definitely probably do it on the second, but I wouldn't even care if I did it on the first and didn't get triggered because not getting triggered
Mm-hmm.
to me doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Then I'll just move. Then I'll just move again anyway.
Please.
So I think there's I do agree that plotting is probably a good governing mechanism for the dark troopers, but I don't think to me it renders them ineffective because I think that 2 activations around is just some sort of weird calculus that I'm not sure everyone's going to be ready for, and I think it's going to take a bit to figure that out.
Yeah, it could. I think also with the whole pass mechanic, like guys who have dark troopers and say are it says 10 acts on your list builder. Well, you're actually at 11. So it's going to be a lot to get around. I don't think a lot of guys are going to, right out of the gate, like Worlds could be interesting, but like right out of the gate though, I think
Worlds will be interesting for
yeah,
sure.
Worlds is going to be interesting with them, but I think it's going to take like it takes us as a player base about a good 2 weeks to figure things out.
Is that all? Geez, I'm surprised I still haven't figured out Jedi yet. So I've been playing the game since day one, but slower, I guess, than most.
Whoops. Oh, you said his piece in book.
Ryan's got a better flow though in his silhouette than he does in real life, so this is not too bad. So um,
Yeah.
this Ryan talks less too, which is good. So I'm sure he'll call back in. So I just dropped the link in there if you got anybody wants to get into work before Ryan gets back. So uh, Frank pointing
uh,
out that Lindsay's Yoda is ready, but she's not on here to respond. But yeah, so Andrew, are you heading to any big events? Are you doing Adepticon? Are you doing any of those things?
no, just staying local. No plans to go any big events.
Okay,
I tried to get a group from my local scene to go to Adepticon, but no one was biting
okay,
on
gotcha.
it. So
Well, mate, you got another whole year to keep working on it for Adepticon 2024. So,
yeah.
um, yeah. So what are you playing? I'll chat to you for a few more minutes here while we're on. But
Yeah.
what are your what's your latest jam? What's your Legion thing right now?
A lot of it's been any variation of dual bounty you can think of for
Okay.
either em, mostly Empire.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Who's your bounties? Who's your bounty hunters?
um, uh, Boskin 88.
Okay, good, good. I like all answers that don't say CAD. CAD's just been giving me fits lately, and I need 23 dice pools to just eliminate CAD. That's clearly the only way to do it. So
Well, then I guess I was on the higher average of the bell curve because although granted I did end up with a 3 or 4 aim shot on a CAD with 88
yeah,
because I had two Beckys feeding edgy aims,
yep,
and then I had Hunter on 88, and I snuck a wound with my strike team onto Cad Bane,
mm-hmm.
so I had that extra aim from Hunter as well. So I was able to roll in. I think ended up being like 4 or 5 crits out of 6. And ended up blanking the Cad Bane for the bounty.
Nice, very good. I like to hear all things that that end in CAD's demise. So Hey, Ryan, you're back. We only got a couple
Yeah.
minutes left, but Frank was saying while you were off the air to let Lindsay know that Yoda is all done and we'll be ready to ship out. So
Sweet. I'll let her know.
you'll look forward to that. Ryan's got some card sleeves on his end, so he can finally stop complaining about not having any FNF slag. But surprised he didn't have them like literally pasted on his forehead when he came on stream today. So a little disappointed, but yeah, there's a lot of I've seen a lot of swag photos, which is fantastic. So Justice has got his Echo base, so you'll probably be facing that maybe sometime as well, Ryan. So
yeah, I'm probably not. I keep trying to push him to do that, but
he'll be
he's running guard
Yeah.
right now.
he's running Gar. Well, he's a Gar simp, so that's what his jersey's gonna say.
Yes.
So Gar simp. So
Yes.
on the topic of jerseys, folks, if you are interested, like I said, there's a place on the Discord you can handle all that. I will basically run everyone's jersey through, and again, I'm only going to use the simulator, so I will give people that'll be your verification, so we can make sure that looks right. But got some interesting nicknames out there. Ryan, I didn't see what you settle on for a nickname because
Yeah.
Are you going to miss jerseys on a second run and then just
No,
never let us
no.
live it down, or what's going to happen here?
I'm still gonna hit it, but it's that 8-character minimum. And
Well, you can do it if you want to go lowercase. You can go lowercase, but if you want it all capital letters, which I think looks the best, eight is what fits in the space. So, yeah.
Yeah, but my nickname guy keeps mixing it up on me.
Oh, okay, gosh. I mean, there's a chat full of people who will probably give you all kinds of amazing nicknames.
Oh, I'm
Matter of
sure
fact,
there
chat, to
are.
end it off, you just hit us with your best Ryan nickname, and you're no character limit. So I'm expecting to see some fantastic ones here at the chat. So, Ryan, you're going to Worlds. Hit us with for once in your call in history. Hit a discussion topic.
Oh, I thought I hit my dice pools are bigger than your dice pool. But so Worlds, yeah. So I haven't bought my ticket yet because it's reserved
Good start
for me because I'm
good start.
Yeah, no, like I haven't bought it yet. It's reserved for me, so it feels nice to have it reserved. Looking forward to it. I know there's a group of us going. A few of us are probably going to be getting an Airbnb as well, just crashing. A few of us bring
more sleepovers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I wasn't invited, Andrew. I'm somewhat disappointed.
No, you weren't invited yet.
This much disappointed.
Yeah, I can tell.
Part of me, like I keep joking with a few of the guys that are playing in the LCQ that I might just jump in there.
Don't jump in the LCQ. Leave those spaces for people who need to qualify.
Yeah, me being, super competitive, like part of me wants to do good tune-up games, but also
just do it on the open tables.
I could do it on the open tables. But part of me also
let me screw somebody out of getting into the tournament.
Yeah, like part of that also, like it's kind of a douchebag move, but at the same time, it's like
100% is.
It's
not kinda.
One less person to not play Ryan after he drops.
Yeah, because on Thursday, what am I gonna do? Demo Shatterpoint? Like,
I guess probably
we are
just
going to be playing that in six months anyway.
I guess Adepticon only has 2 things that people can do. I guess so. It's sold out anyways. I'm pretty sure, says Kendall.
I'll have to double check that.
Wow. Yeah. You aren't playing in the LCQ. You aren't playing in anything.
Yeah, I know. Probably the judge who's listening is like, okay, if he plays in the LCQ, we're banning him from Worlds.
I'm pretty sure the judge was in here listening.
Oh,
so...
I know he is, and I'm probably sure he's like, yeah, he's gonna get a ban. Which I'll just add it to the list. But yeah, before I was cut off, I was gonna say I'm not out on Gideon though.
Okay, just to clarify, we didn't cut you off. You just disappeared.
I know, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I didn't want people to think I was rude. I actually didn't hit. I only hit the exit button if there's multiple people. But
yeah,
okay, so you're out on Gideon. Yeah, I'm not Chase. You're out on Gideon.
No, I'm in on Gideon.
Oh, you're in on Gideon.
Troopers.
Okay.
Yeah.
In on Gideon, out on Dark Troopers. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Gideon's cards 1, 2, 3. What's his best one? Because you're out on Dark Troopers, so your order is going to be different. I think.
Mm,
You still think the 3 is the
no.
best?
I'm still taking all 3. Honestly, I
Okay.
can still issue orders with this 2-pip. I just don't get the effect.
I mean, you could take push.
With yeah, but I have to take another one since I'm not taking evasive maneuvers.
Are you
Not
well?
to
But
spoil anything.
but you want to take a Veers? You're taking a Veers Gideon.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah, or thought is a Veers Krennic, or not a Veers Krennic, Gideon Krennic.
Mm-hmm.
But out of his command cards, I like that 3-pip. Because I mean, no surprise, I'm going to be fire sporting with an E-web because anything with surge to crit feels nice.
Yeah, no, don't disagree on the surge to crit. I just think that there's other ways to get it, and I just think that if you're fire supporting off the E-web, or fire supporting into the E-web, I just think that you're just going to be a little bit more limited in terms of your band, right? So
It's a pretty big arc.
it is a big arc, and you have a decent range band. I just feel like you can just outrange it because for more all intents and purposes, it's just a stationary gun, right?
In a way, yeah. Which I mean, I like it because when you run mortars as well with it, you still have you can have 5, 6 units with fire support. That's
Well,
cool.
now talk to me about
Triple
an
short roll.
E-web in a Gav tank.
What's a gav?
It's armor and awesome.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't know what that is.
Nope, doesn't
Again,
exist.
like it's something that's always been talked about. It's something
I mean,
you've never
I
seen.
have run it a lot. Well, I should say a lot. I've run it I've run it 11 times. I have 11 games logged with it.
Okay. Like here when okay, so here like it I've never seen it. Like it's always that unicorn of like, oh, you could do this. It's something I've even theorized about doing, but end of the day, I'm like, probably not. Especially with the new rules and line of sight stuff coming out with the Gav, because it's
I
kind
mean,
of like the ISP.
it adds what if you were on the Pentel, it's it'll be three red, 3 white, 2 black. That would be what the Gav's kicking in into your pool of your E-web, and you'd have surge crit on it.
1 red, 2 black, 4 white. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's
Well, you're gonna have what a you're adding eight dice into the E-web pool of what, 5? So a 13 dice pool
7.
surge. What? Oh, because you're gonna run degenerate. Yeah. So there you go. So that feels pretty good. So 15 dice pool
It does. Yeah, it's
surge crit.
I
Mhm.
wouldn't run it. I'm not saying anyone shouldn't. It's not something I would do. Just it's not how I play. But like it's definitely a thing. I think that's the one thing. Like that 3-pip, a lot of people are still looking at the 2-pip, but I think that 3-pip can do some damage. Guys are gonna be definitely creative with it for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely, absolutely.
Which I think like if you're taking Gideon and you're taking that 3-pip and you have 3 heavies in there,
Yeah.
I think you have to take Veers just for evasive maneuvers.
Because you think you need to put the dodges on the heavies.
Why not?
I
You get outmaneuver on them, so for that round doesn't hurt.
mm,
Yeah, now I got you thinking. You're like it doesn't hurt, honestly.
no. Well, I was really thinking about really. Do I think you need it?
And
You
how you
don't. It's
fitting it all?
nice.
You're running 3
Hmm?
heavies and 2 medium commanders. How you fitting it all?
The one thing that I absolutely despise, naked core, which again you run into that problem of your core just became a lot more important, depending on the objective you're playing.
Yeah, but you can kill them one at a
Hmm.
time now.
True.
Don't remind me.
And just when you thought it could get worse, pass.
Yeah.
It when you talk about it, when you think about it, it definitely feels a little bit like 40k because damage doesn't carry over.
Yeah,
And apparently we have a deep strike in here, so I guess we're
two deep
playing
strikes.
Star Wars. Yeah,
2 deep strikes.
options. Yeah, with
Then after you deep strike, go again.
yeah, basically yeah. So it's so now it's Star Wars 40k now. Which
No. It's not Star Wars 40k.
it's Star Wars 40k at that
We're
point.
not there. We're not
don't
there.
don't insult our beloved game.
Yeah.
I
And when
mean,
I say tear it would make it worse, I actually think the pass mechanic's fun. I've played a couple games now, incorporating as many of the new rules as we think we know they are. And I think the pass mechanic's not bad. I think it's great early on. And I've really enjoyed the standing orders showdown, and then losing the bid to go first, being down an act, and then or being down 1 or 2, and then quickly being able to play a pass. It's great. So yeah, it's a nice way to make up ground early on. So
yeah, that'll be interesting. I'll be glued to my computer for the weekend at the end of the month watching LVO.
Oh, me too. Yeah, I'll be tuning in for sure.
And I'll be glued to the chat watching them lose their minds of passing and all these new rules.
I mean, you don't need to wait till the weekend. You can go look at the internet right now. That's easy to find people losing their minds everywhere on all things. So, I mean, if you were following the 55 minutes that I was on the trying to get into the Adepticon, that was me. I was losing my mind in real life. Yeah. I was just like, I was literally on this computer, I was on my other Mac right here, and I was on my phone, and just 3 spinning wheels of death. And I was like, I don't care which one I get through first. And finally got through. But I mean, that was everyone's experience. So I'm not in the minority here. What's that?
No, I gotta watch it live. I watched it live because I had Justice trying to sign up on my laptop, and we're just watching it and just
gotcha.
Like, is this gonna load? No. Okay,
yeah.
But
at that point, it's just a story. At this point, we're in and moving on. I actually think you should keep us live tuned when you go check out that Adepticon sold out. So, I think it's just 1 deep strike.
Yeah, it's just 1 on that 2 pip. It's not 2. Yeah, it's just.
Oh, because you can only do it on one.
But you can technically deep strike twice if you're lucky enough.
Right, because of the. Let me just jump over there since we're just talking about it right now.
Because of rapid.
Yep.
Yeah. So after orders issued, choose off friendly. Yeah, off friendly. Yep. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So like it.
Okay.
Again, I'm gonna say it like it's gonna probably feel like 40k Star Wars in a way, just with the new rules with damage not carrying over and having deep strikes. So it's.
But I mean,
but hey, why does it matter anyway? Because we're going to be playing Shatterpoint in June. So,
well, I won't be able to spill. I'll sweet playing. I have too much Legion to build and play with still, to be done by June. But I mean,
maybe that'll be a T-shirt I'll bring to Worlds. I'm just here for Shatterpoint.
But go back to it for a second, though. Like, you've watched the show. Like, if not just coming in out of nowhere and landing strategically where they need to be, grabbing what they need to get, and then booking it out of there. Like, how is that just not identical to what what we've seen them be able to do?
Oh, I'm not saying it's not. Like
I think it's pretty.
It's definitely it's gonna feel weird, but again, I don't think they're gonna be able to grab objectives.
I mean,
currently, unless that changes.
I learned real quick that I can throw another person's Vader out of a lat on top of a Spire, and that's something that you can do in the game, right? And like that's just weird and a one-off, and it's impactful. But I mean, I did it. It's within the rules, and
that's the one weird thing about Legion is that you think one thing will happen. Like while you're talking, I pulled up the RRG and it looked under objective focus. It said they can't be removed from the battlefield. But that can supersede what someone else says, or
I mean that rule was written what in like original rule book of Legion.
We never had a rule book in Legion, apparently.
Well, I mean, we had the book that came in the original core set, and then a rules reference guide that went with that. What I'm saying is that doesn't. I don't think that's got several wording changes way before Dark Trooper was ever known to potentially anyone. And so maybe that does maybe that does have a change.
Jeez. Who knows? That could change in about 6 days.
Yeah, it probably will.
If it doesn't, who knows? One thing a lot of people aren't talking about either that still blows my mind is them being able to take the CIS personnel upgrades.
Well, I did mention in the show that you can find lots of people talking about that. But because we have no clear ruling on that, it's really at this point just wild speculation. I can go crazy losing my mind that you can, and then I can go crazy on the, well, just use common sense argument. But we know what the word...
This is a miniatures game, Shawn. We don't use common sense.
Well, I mean, I still function in reality. So while I have miniatures surrounding me, they're not in my head. So still have independent thoughts, and you know, but I think at this point it's only if you want to subscribe to let's go crazy over here, or let's go sound rationale over here, or let's just sit in the middle and say wait 6 days. But yes, if you could, it would be crazy. If you could, it would be wild.
Yeah, and same goes with the core trooper personnel as well. Like, I don't think you're going to be able to take those. Again, we have to hope that it's going to be announced and figured out. Because if not, it's going to be the Wild West out there.
Well, but the thing is, if it's not, and you can do whatever, the beauty of Legion is that everyone will have the same equal access to doing that.
Yeah.
It's not like Andrew gets to do it because like I'd be like, oh, I can play that game too, and that's kind of what I was saying about, you know, my dice pools are bigger than your dice pools. We can just continue. I like the arms race aspect of this, and if there's some sort of crazy, you know, combo that works really good, well, I can adopt that too. Or I can find the hardest counter to that because people are already pointing out, well, but I could just choke this. And why would you want to trade, you know, 1 wound for 2? And like that could be a detrimental aspect. So whatever the ruling is on it, as you said, takes us about 2 weeks. We'll break it one way or the other, and we'll find the counter. And
the other thing is,
it continues.
There's going to be a major tournament a month after Gideon and Dark Troopers drop, so that'll be the final testing ground before Worlds.
What's the date on the Gideon drop?
Gideon drop is February 17th.
14?
17. That Friday.
17? Okay.
Yep.
February 17. Okay, well then he's a full month out from Worlds, which is fine.
And and the tournament I'm talking about would be the Rocky Mountain Open on March 10th and 11th.
Okay.
So it would.
Are you signed up for that, or you haven't bought a ticket yet either?
Oh no, that one I got a ticket for. That one it's a guy's trip, which is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hate life because daylight savings changes, and we are leaving immediately after.
Nice. We don't change time here in Saskatchewan, so ever. So.
That must be nice. So you're like Arizona
nice. Then. No, we're Saskatchewan.
Just throw us out there.
Arizona's like us. Yeah. So yeah. All right, folks. Well, that literally put me at the 158 mark. So Ryan squeezed us for yet more airtime. So when he gets a jersey, I will definitely let him have all the airtime that he wants. So that's a real thing, Ryan. If you have a jersey, you get to talk longer. So
I just have to wear it, right? Unlike Jace.
Yeah, and try pants next time too. That would be good. That'd be great. Andrew, thanks for calling in and helping me keep Ryan contained and not too wild tonight. So that's good. Thanks to all the folks in chat for hanging out. Remember, next week we're back with another episode. This Friday we are not, so one more week off, which is great. I don't have to convert I'm working in the studio right over here actually this week. On cutting some foam because I can get the best lighting over here, so I don't have to move it for yet another week. And then after that, we should have some new stuff arriving. We'll have our first game of new Rules Legion, or the updated Rules Legion, on the 20th. So we'll have about 4 days to digest. So if you don't want to wait till the LVO stream, you can come on our stream, lose your mind at us getting all the rules wrong, and that'll be fun. That'll be fun too. But we'll learn them as we go, and we'll just see how good and robust the rules are, and see how many of them we can exploit to our fullest desires. Speed 1 moving on buildings is going to be good. real good. Not slowed by things is going to be good. I can't wait to see what I talked about scale before, but I'm also curious to see what unhindered is. Like I'm hoping that unhindered isn't obsolete anymore.
Yeah.
But maybe it still just applies to area terrain, which maybe means that we're going to see a proliferation of area terrain in the game. Which Ryan, you can actually say, "Hey, that'll be good," because I think that's a good thing. Because I've heard you say that lots of times, and we use lots of area terrain as is.
Because I secretly love area terrain.
Maybe, maybe you'll love
Because
unhindered.
because usually if you come to my tournaments, you're guaranteed to see area terrain.
Sure. Yeah, we
Which
use.
yeah,
Yeah, we like it too. So I think it's
mixes
just
it up.
because that's used in the games, that we played previous. So, but yeah, maybe unhindered will help in that respect, and then maybe there will be a reason to make more of that. But all that will be revealed. We only have to wait 6 short more days, and we'll get there. So we will hit you guys on the 17th. We'll be talking Worlds, LVO, and of course all the newest things in Legion. So that will be a good one. We'll play it on the 20th. We'll be back on the 24th for the launch episodes. We got two, I guess, one more Friday off, and then have 3 great episodes in a row. So stay tuned, folks. Catch us on all those. You guys can find us, like I said, on all the medias. If you want the jersey, remember that order is happening. That is not the jersey. The jersey is there. If you are interested in the jerseys, the jersey information and how to order and do all the things is on the Discord. Go check us out there. Orders are going to go real fast because we want them for Worlds, so we can walk around and look cool even if we aren't playing great. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Cheers.
Cheers.